We're back here on the 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for rocking and rolling with us with another show here on the channel. We have a lot to get to on today's show. The 49ers have signed a defensive tackle. We'll get to the Julio Jones to San Francisco rumors and the Cleveland Browns interested in a Jimmy Garoppolo trade. We start off with the 49ers signing Hassan Ridgeway, an NFL free agency. Basically what this is, a DJ Jones and Kentavious Street replacement if Street ends up leaving San Francisco. Jeremy Fowler first on it saying this on Twitter. Hassan Ridgeway signing with the Niners, 1 year, $2.5 million deal with $1 million in fully guaranteed money. He's an experienced, versatile defensive tackle who's going to be a key piece along the San Francisco 49ers defensive line. Had some stints with the Indianapolis Colts as well as the Philadelphia Eagles. In the last couple of years, he's really flashed with Philadelphia, a former fourth-round pick out of Texas for the Indianapolis Colts, but was really able to carve himself out a role as a rotational defensive tackle along that Philly defensive front. And when you put him on this defense, which attacks opposing quarterbacks, prioritizes stopping the run, and has really developed defensive linemen under D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh, as well as defensive line coach Chris Kocurek, I actually think that this signing is a sneaky good one. Basically, you were paying DJ Jones last year somewhere in the neighborhood of what you're paying Hassan Ridgeway, and you're going to ask Ridgeway to basically be the same type of player. I covered the Eagles with my last job, and he was actually a pretty solid player, especially in a limited sample size with limited reps. Let's say Javon Kinlaw goes down with yet another injury. It would be the third straight year in which he goes down with an injury as a former first-round pick. You put in Hassan Ridgeway, and he can help spell that loss a little bit. This is a sneaky good signing for the 49ers that's going to kind of file under the radar, but I think it could end up being a nice little signing for San Francisco in free agency. From Ridgeway to some juicy 49ers rumors. Julio Jones, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, has been released by the Titans. He's going to hit the free agency market after only 1 year in Tennessee, and at this point of his career, he's older, he's somewhat injury prone, but he is being tied to the Niners because of his relationship with Kyle Shanahan. Ted Wynn is one of the best film and analysts and guys who breaks down film across the National Football League and the NFL media landscape. He said this on Twitter. The 49ers for Julio Jones would make sense. They wouldn't rely on him as a top target, and they could use a true X wide receiver in that offense. Now, here on the channel, we pass along the latest Niners news and rumors. We go live every single week, and we like to involve you in all of our shows. We also like to teach you the game of football. What is an X wide receiver? It's basically the wide receiver who lines up out wide. Here on this particular example, split I formation with a fullback, which would be Kyle Juszczyk, a running back, and Elijah Mitchell. Then the X wide receiver all the way to the far left of the formation would be Julio Jones. You can still have Deebo Samuel play in the slot. He can play out wide. Brandon Aiyuk can play a couple of different positions as a wide receiver. And George Kittle would, of course, play tight end in that offense. So that's where Julio Jones would line up as the X wide receiver if the Niners were to bring him in. Here are my opinions about Julio Jones. At this point in his career, Julio Jones is 33 years old with declining production and increasing injuries. There's no question he's a Hall of Fame level talent, but he's going to be tied to the Niners because of his relationship with Kyle Shanahan, who was his offensive coordinator when he was with the Atlanta Falcons prior to taking the head coaching job with San Francisco. And Jones's production when Shanahan was his OC was legendary. He went off and had the two best years of his career. 2015, the numbers are straight up stupid. 136 catches, nearly 2,000 receiving yards, average yards per catch just shy of 14, 8 receiving touchdowns, and an astounding 117 receiving yards per game. The following year, he only played 14 games as compared to 16 the season prior, still had great production, 83 grabs, 1,400 yards, average yards per catch up by about 3 yards to 17, reeled in 6 touchdowns, and still eclipsed the century mark week in and week out with more than 100 receiving yards per game. This past year, though, with Tennessee, he consistently got hurt. He wasn't consistently available for the Titans offense, only played 10 games, and his production really declined because of that. 48 targets, 31 catches, 434 yards, and a touchdown. And over the last couple of years, he has been off injured, and at this point of his career, I'm not sure how much sense it makes for San Francisco to bring in a declining player who continues to get injured when you can bring in a player like Juwan Jennings for maybe the same price as Julio Jones. And that really is the sticking point for these negotiations. Julio Jones is probably looking at Kyle Shanahan and he's saying, look, I had the best 2 years of my career in 2015 and 2016 when Kyle Shanahan was my OC. Last couple of years, my production has slipped because I've been injured. If I can get healthy, I believe I can still get back to somewhat elite level of production, and I wouldn't be the main focal point on that offense because the Niners still have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Aiyuk, so maybe he takes a veteran-laden deal and takes less money to go to the Niners to prove to others that he can stay healthy. And at this point of his career, he's made a lot of coin, and he wants to chase a Super Bowl championship. He would be able to do that with San Francisco. Him in the fold would certainly make the Niners offense interesting. I just don't really have a lot of interest in older players who continue to get injured, and you combine that with the fact that the production has continued to decrease over time. Let me ask you this question, Niner gang. Do you want the Niners to sign Julio Jones? I want you to get that comment section absolutely popping off. Type S for sign, type P for pass, Julio to the Bay. You let me know what you're feeling in the comment section right now. And while you're down there, you see that big red button that says subscribe? If you haven't hit it, smash it right now. We're keeping you in the know better than any 49ers YouTube channel out there. Free daily videos covering the latest 49ers news and rumors. And we have you covered not just during the offseason, all year long. 365 days a year, we're pushing out videos. So join the faithful family as we approach 60,000 subscribers right here on the 49ers Report. Speaking of our content here on the channel, over on Rumble, you can find more 49ers news and rumors videos on the Rumble app. I've become a big fan of this app because you know me by now. I've hosted this channel since April after the NFL draft. I have bold opinions, and I like freedom of speech, and I do not like cancel culture, and that's why I kind of like messing around with the Rumble app. Free and uncensored content over there, sports, news, politics, tech, and business, and we're growing to the platforms that you as viewers use. So give us a follow by going to rumble.com/49erstv. Yesterday, we had 69 subs on the Rumble app. No joke. We eclipsed 100. Let's continue to grow. Just plug in that link and give us a follow at rumble.com/49erstv. More 49ers rumors to get to. The Cleveland Browns, according to Chris Mortensen, are interested in a Jimmy Garoppolo trade. He said this on ESPN. Let's break it down for you. So Mortensen said that the Browns are breaking up with Baker Mayfield, and it doesn't really matter if they land Deshaun Watson or not. And according to a lot of reports out there, Deshaun Watson expected to make a decision as to where he waives his no-trade clause to. So depending on what happens with Cleveland, according to Chris Mortensen, they're breaking up with Baker Mayfield, and they're going to move on from the former number one pick. And what Cleveland wants at the quarterback position is what Baker Mayfield hasn't proven to be, an adult and somebody who is a mature leader. And the Browns are interested in Jimmy Garoppolo because he brings to the table what Baker Mayfield doesn't. Now, Baker Mayfield is the more talented thrower. He's the better athlete, and he's the overall better quarterback from a skill set perspective. He doesn't have the intangibles of Garoppolo, and Garoppolo gives the Cleveland Browns some flexibility at the position if they move on from Baker Mayfield. First of all, they didn't offer a fifth-year option to Baker. They don't want to pay him long-term. And for Jimmy G, if it works out this year with a really good roster, that's great. You only have to pay him for 1 year, then you can renegotiate after this year. If you don't want to move forward with Garoppolo after the 2022 season, you can move on from him and go with another quarterback option out there. As far as Jimmy Garoppolo to the Cleveland Browns, I don't think it happens until Deshaun Watson gets traded. And right now, a couple of teams in the mix. 3 in the NFC South, including the New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panthers, and Atlanta Falcons, and 1 lone team in the AFC in the Cleveland Browns. Once Deshaun Watson gets traded, that's when I expect a Jimmy Garoppolo trade to go down, because then that leaves a couple of other teams who are still in need of a quarterback, and Jimmy Garoppolo, one of the best options out there on the market in terms of free agents, as well as in the NFL draft. And the Cleveland Browns are a great fit for Jimmy G. For Kevin Stefanski, he doesn't have to worry about the drama of Baker Mayfield any longer. For the Cleveland Browns organization, they don't have to worry about Baker Mayfield going off on the media and taking to the mean Twitter streets and firing off some crazy tweets late at night, because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't going to do that. At the most, he's just going to go out to dinner with prostitutes or maybe, I don't know, porn stars, because Garoppolo did that before. So that's the least of the Cleveland Browns' concerns. Seriously, though, Garoppolo, as we like to have fun here on the channel, is mature. He can be the face of the franchise. I think the Browns are a good fit because they have a really good running game with Nick Chubb. They have some really good wide receivers in Donovan Peoples-Jones as well as Amari Cooper, who they traded for. David Njoku is a really good tight end. And throughout this free agency period, Cleveland has been willing to spend on the offensive side of the ball, but they've also tried to fortify that defense. And we know this about Jimmy Garoppolo. He needs a strong core around him in order for him to be successful, and the Cleveland Browns certainly have that. So that's why I think the Browns are a good fit for Garoppolo if they do intend to trade for him, if they miss out on the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Are the Browns a good fit for Garoppolo? You let me know right now. G for good, B for bad. I think they're a good fit for the reasons that I talked about. If you disagree with me, that's cool. Freedom of speech, baby. That's why we like Rumble. Get into the comment section. And while you do that, don't forget to subscribe. We have you locked and loaded with the best 49ers news and rumors all throughout free agency. We've been pushing out multiple videos per day, and we ain't stopping anytime soon.